Hey guys, so I am coming out into the garden today knowing that there is a tropical storm moving into our area in the next few days, which is really unexpected for this time of year, which actually makes me happy that I don't have very much out in the garden. Um, what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to show you how to plant some garlic bulbs. This is kind of an experiment. I don't know if doing this right before a tropical storm is going to be a good idea, but I don't have any irrigation out here yet. I'm still collecting all the pieces to get everything out here. And I'm hoping that if I plant the bulbs, that the rain that's going to be coming is going to be enough to suffice to get the bulbs started, so I don't have to come out here and water with a hose after working 12-hour shifts. So let's talk about some garlic. So now this is just a cup of general all-purpose organic fertilizer that I purchased that I was going to use for all of the beds. This is where I'm going to start. Everything else I'm going to use after this point is going to be liquid fertilization. It's kind of windy, so I'm going to try to put this in slowly. I'm just going to sprinkle it on and mix it in. Usually I would do the whole bed at one time, but since it's so windy, I'm going to try to avoid having everything blow away. And remember, every fertilizer that you use is different, so the best way to do this is just read the labels on the back of the bag, see how much you should be applying per square foot. Usually it works in terms of pounds, so I actually weighed it out and did square footage based on an 8-foot by 4-foot bed for each time I plant. So really quick, I want to talk to you guys about garlic varieties before I go out there and actually show you how to plant them. There are two different types of garlic. There is hardneck garlic and softneck garlic. And the difference is their ability to bolt. And in Florida, I always talk about plants that like to bolt because we have a lot of sun, we have high heat. So hardneck garlic gets its name because there is a strong hard stem in the middle of the garlic. And that garlic has one ring of bulbs around it, and it sends up a flower stalk. And once it sends up that flower stalk, it's gonna stop transferring energy to creating a bulb because now it wants to produce flowers so that it can reproduce that way. So here in Florida, we plant two types of garlic, which are called silver skin and artichoke. Those are non-bolting varieties. They work very well down here, so you get a same size bulb, but you're gonna have smaller cloves, and there's gonna be multiple rings of cloves with no hard stem in the center. This year, I'm planting my Polish garlic, which is Polish white, which I love. I've grown this garlic before. If I could make sausage, this would be a perfect sausage garlic. And then two new varieties to me that I'm going to be planting this year are going to be Kettle River Giant, and I'm going to be planting Mexican Red Silver. Now I've already broken apart my cloves to make it a little easier when I go out there. And these I bought from Furley Garlic Farm, which I'll send a link down below. That's where I've bought my garlic every year. I ordered my garlic in March, and I just got it last week. So they send it to you at the time that you're supposed to be planting your garlic outside. The weather now is still a little hot, but I'm hoping that after this tropical storm, things cool off a little bit and everything out there is going to start, and it's going to have that nice cold snap in order to develop. And it just started raining, so I'm going to wait for this rain to pass, and then I'm going to take you guys back outside, and hopefully I'll have a little bit of time to show you the main garden beds because those have been planted and seeded, and there's a lot going on out there. Still sprinkling a little bit, but I came out anyways. What I'm going to show you guys is spacing for garlic. Now, in my recommendations that I make, I follow general square foot gardening. So it is usually 9 cloves of garlic per square foot. I have found in the past that I think that's a little cramped. It hasn't really worked for me. So what I'm doing this year instead is I counted the number of cloves I have per half pound of each. And then I've taken my designated amount of space and I've divided it between how many cloves I have. So I have one that's going to be 5 per square foot, one that will be 6, and one that will be 7. So my way that I do square foot gardening, I used to come out here and put little strings across the bed or lay out pieces of wood and try to get everything absolutely perfect. I found that I have way too much to plant to continue doing that. So what I do is I actually use artistic chalk pastels, and I just draw little lines along the beds at 1-foot marks, and those little lines are going to be my guiding point. I'm just going to eyeball it from there, and it tends to work out pretty well for me. So I am going to take my dipper. I am just going to draw a little line at the 1-foot mark, and this will be my 5. So I'm just going to put 5 holes into the ground. I will drop my garlic in and I will cover them. Now your garlic cloves are going to go about 1 inch to 2 inches deep. The larger cloves you want deeper, the smaller cloves you can plant a little bit shallower. And then Once this is all set in, eventually I will add irrigation to it, but we're just a little bit behind. So it is also really important to mention that when you break apart garlic, the bottom part of the garlic is where your roots are going to come out, and your shoot is going to come out of the top. So you have to make sure that when you're planting that this bottom root is what's going to go down into the soil, or else your roots are going to come up backwards and you're not going to get a sprout. So I thought I beat the heavy part of the rain and got all the garlic planted. I thought I had a little extra space. And then I went back inside the house and realized that when I was pulling apart my Mexican red silver garlic, I left an entire bulb in there, so I guess I saw a squirrel. So I am just going to go ahead and shoot the rest of the video now because I think the rain is just going to get worse over the next 2 days. I am going to show you what are in the first 2 raised beds, the main beds. The last bed is not yet planted. I have tons of broccoli and cauliflower and carrots that still need to go into those beds. Also, I have tons of starts inside for more cabbages and bok choy and collard greens and kale that after the storm passes are all going to go out in the beds over there. I'm also going to put in some tea stakes, start some peas, and just get that winter garden fully out there and then do the irrigation as I go. The first part of these beds are all peppers. There is a mix of hot pepper and sweet pepper in here, and if you can see, it's been so hot lately that I have tons and tons of flower buds growing. And on my shishito peppers, which need to be tied up before this storm comes in, I actually have a bunch of little shishitos growing as well. So after I do this video, I'm actually going to tie these up to the stakes. Hopefully they'll get through this windstorm a little bit easier. And then this weekend I'll come out here and fertilize and get rid of some of the unhealthy leaves. This is not something that I usually plant this late. So what is going to happen with these peppers, these eggplants, these are Little Fingers eggplant, and my basil, is I'm going to actually create a low tunnel that's going to connect to this, and I'm going to overwinter these, and then hopefully in spring I'm just going to have some massive plants with tons and tons of peppers. This half of the bed I have cabbages and I have beets and parsnips. Now my cabbages are in the center, and the reason why is because underneath this there is a long PVC pipe and a layer of stone that goes underneath here. Because of the plastic, it just adds extra drainage, so when we get rainstorms like this, it doesn't get flooded out. So here are some red acre cabbage, and then these are green express cabbage. Down here I haven't started yet, but that's where my Brussels sprouts are going to go. Here, all these little guys, those are touch-tone gold beets. Here I have purple top white globe turnips coming up. And then here are tall top early wonder beets. And these are Crosby Egyptian beets. Now, there are a lot of seed starts in each one. Beet seeds usually have multiple seeds attached to each other, if you can see here. So when these get big enough, what I'll actually do is come through here with a pair of scissors, and I will cut it so that there is one start per space, and I'll actually take the extras and make a salad out of them. Now, bed number 2, I also have cabbages in the center that go along the first portion of this bed all the way down to there. And then I have carrot starts, which just started sprouting up in the last few days. There are several different kinds of carrots in here. They're atomic red, cosmic purple, amarillo, which is this just wonderful bright orange carrot, culinary blend, and then just some regular orange carrots, which are over here. Down here I have daikon radishes, which I haven't grown before, but if they work out well, they are going to be turned into kimchi, and they are also going to be fermented into radish pickles. And then all the way down here at the end, these little guys, I have 5 different types of broccoli. Romanesco broccoli, calabrese broccoli, I have cauliflower, I have Chinese broccoli, and this is actually going to be replicated over there with a later season in a couple of weeks. And everything that's out here except for the peppers and the basil, this is going to be frost tolerant. So as long as I don't get a deep, deep freeze and the soil in these beds doesn't freeze, these are going to be great winter crop. And the time that they're going to be ready is exactly when it's going to be the time to start putting my tomatoes, more peppers, and more eggplant out here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you're inspired to get your hands dirty.